Hey guys, how's it going? It's time for another game of Twilight struggle against Doomsday, who I've invited via Reddit. So we're going to have another bid for sides game today, and we'll see how it goes. I've been on the search for players with a slightly higher ranking to make for more interesting viewing, so we'll see how it goes. We'll do our typical thing of bidding one USSR. So he's bid two, so we're hopefully going to be the USA with two influence if this sign is actually to be believed this time. So we'll see how it goes. You too, my friend. So we got a +2. We don't know where socialist governments is, so that makes me slightly more inclined to place 4 into Italy instead of the traditional 3, because we do have 2 extra influence. So, and also I've found if you place 2 into Iran, then the Soviet player tends to favour a coup on Italy. So we'll try to prevent him from doing that, and we'll place 1 into Iran. So, looking at our hand, we've got some decent ops. The only problem is we don't really have a headline card that's jumping out at me. I'm reluctant to play Asia in case he has Vietnam. You know, I don't want to give him an unnecessary 5 points that we could avoid. I'm not really sure what to go with here, to be honest. I mean, we could just burn Romanian and get it out of the deck. I don't see any reason to do anything else. We could play, I suppose we could play NORAD and then place 2 into Canada. But it's one of those tricky hands where, you know, the ops are decent, but you don't really know what to actually headline. Let me just think. I suppose NORAD. So they're socialist government. So I think he might. Well, actually, no. This could be interesting. Given that we've played NORAD, he might then prioritise Canada. So he might take 2 from Canada, which in one way is bad because obviously we want to trigger NORAD, but in another way is good because, say, if he initially wanted to target Italy, we might be able to protect that through him now feeling like he has to attack Canada, if that makes sense. So we'll see what he does. I'm guessing, I don't know, maybe. Oh no, he still goes for Italy. Oh, but he takes 1 from Canada. Interesting. So that makes me think that he's now going to coup Italy with duck and cover. So we're going to get 2 points. Okay, so he kicks us out, but he doesn't place any influence in himself. So, given that, I think we'll throw 1 into France to basically force him to take it. And then, as we have Asia, I think it's pretty imperative that we move into Afghanistan. Let me just turn this down a little bit. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, so he's got to take Italy now. And then after that, he might make a run for France. We should probably place 1 into Lebanon to secure Middle East domination. I'm also tempted to buffer up Iran a little bit by placing an extra influence in there, just so it looks a little bit less appealing as a coup target. I've just realised it's DEFCON 3 and not 4, so we probably should have moved into Malaysia there as well, but never mind. We can do that next turn if need be. So there's de Gaulle. So he takes Italy and then starts moving into South Korea. So we're going to make him think now. We're going to place 1 into Lebanon to give ourselves Middle East domination, and then if he has any cards that let him reach Southeast Asia, that therefore means that he has to decide between, say, either coupping Iran or taking Iraq to prevent Middle East domination, or does he prioritise, you know, Southeast Asia, you know, the fight for Thailand. So we'll see what he does there. We're giving him 2 things to think about. given that he's played de Gaulle as well, I'm tempted to maybe take France for the time being, because say if we take France and then we redraw de Gaulle later, because we have 3 and we can basically trigger the event and then place the 3 ops back into France. So it's not as damaging as if, say, we just leave 1 influence in France as we are at the moment. So he's got a couple of things to think about now. It'll be interesting to see how he reacts to that. So here's Decol. Right, so we've got to take Thailand basically, and we've got to spend the big 4 ops in there, unfortunately. Problem now is that he can easily take, say, South Korea with the China card, and then he still has domination. But there's not an awful lot we can do about that, and also we've still got that safety net of the Middle East. You know, it's 6 points in our favour, and you know, we can't just not respond to that. If he's placing 1 in Thailand, we can't just leave it there and say, you know, there you go, buddy, take that. You know, we've got to fight him back where we can. So that's my thought process there. And obviously I put 4 in instead of 3 to prevent any China card flips. It's wise that he put 1 into South Africa as well, so it's not an easy coup target. You know, if he were to put 1 into, say, Angola or Zaire or Nigeria, then we could easily coup it out with, you know, Romanian or a similar low ops card. Wow, another big 4. So, you know, there's not an awful lot we can do against this. I mean, how many countries does he have? He has 2 to our 3. If we were to take, say, Vietnam to balance the country count, you know, he could have Vietnam revolts. He could just place 2 into Burma. I think we should just play it now. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that at all. I think we want to play this now, just minimise the damage slightly. You know, the Asia question is probably something we can combat at a later date. And there's Korean War. So I think with this we will coup. Right, yeah. I just want to protect Iran a little bit. So if we coup with Cambridge, then we will get both military ops. I don't see the point of coupping South Africa, so I'll go for Iraq and the roll of 1. Unfortunately, I wasn't expecting success though. It was more to control the DEFCON there. Now, what can we do with this 1 op from Romanian? I think, looking at the board, the best play would be to move into Egypt, which might force his hand a little bit next round. You know, if he has Nasser, then it'll basically make him play that to prevent us from reaching Libya. Also, if he doesn't have Nasser, then he's then got to decide between coupping Iran and coupping Egypt, you know. So does he try to access Western Asia, or does he think, no, Middle East scoring card is still out, I need to prioritise Egypt and stop the Americans from reaching Libya? So I don't see any reason to do anything else. I think we'll do that. We'll remove him out of Austria. We'll kick him out. Good play on his part to get rid of Truman early on, and I've just realised that playing this now gives him European domination as well. I still like the Egypt play though. I think we'll move into there.
The seeds of totalitarian regimes are nurtured by misery and want. They spread and grow in the evil soil of poverty and strife. They reach their full growth when the hope of a people for a better life has died.
Okay, so not a great hand for ops. We have a great event with Red Scare. We could score some points potentially with Olympic Games. We will score some points with Capture Nazi Scientist. I I mean, you know, Red Scare is jumping out at me, and I think it is what I'll play. The only thing that's holding me back a little bit is the fact that, you know, that's a big 4 ops card, and apart from Comic Con, we've only really got 2s and 1s. You know, one of the ones we want to use for the event, so you know, not a great hand, but I think given that we're in a weakened position anyway, we need to now stop him from advancing. So I think that's the card to play. We'll definitely play CIA and get that back into the deck. So he plays Warsaw Pact. So maybe he's trying to bulk up the country count. I'm not too sure. I mean, we've got 2, he's got 4, and probably an extra 1 or 2 after this play. So I think, I mean, we'll take France, and then depending on what he does in the Middle East, I think we need to make that our region, because, you know, Asia and Europe aren't looking very good at the moment. I suppose we can balance out Asia though by moving into Pakistan, because he doesn't have access to that region at the moment, and obviously at some point we will hopefully get Japan from the US-Japan card. So Europe's looking like the slightly more difficult region of the 2 that we're not leading in. Well, we're not leading any, but but yeah. So okay, so he bulks up the 2 battleground countries. Here we go. East. Oh, okay. He had East Europeans, so maybe he wanted to protect that slightly. Okay, so he only knocks us out of Egypt. He doesn't get in there. So if we place 2 into it now, and then he plays Nasser, we can still get that access to Libya. So that's pretty good news for us. So, hang on. Or we could get rid of Romanian and then score Europe. I think I prefer that play. Let me know what you would have done, guys, but I definitely prefer this play. You know, I'd much rather give him 2 points than I think it was 6. So yeah, I think we got off quite lucky there.
That men and nations can cooperate, and that there are no international problems which men of goodwill cannot solve or adjust.
I don't know if we've seen Blockade. No. So I've got to keep Comic Con for that, unfortunately. What I'm going to do now is, if he plays Nasser, oh Christ, okay, so he plays Destalinisation. Not sure where he's going to go. If he just prioritises South America, he takes Libya. Interesting. Okay, so gonna make him think now. So if he has Nasser, he has to play it. You know, if he wants to take Egypt now. And I'm then going to move into Pakistan to sort of threaten India. You know, he doesn't know that our hand is pretty low at this stage. Also, by going into Egypt, we're also threatening Libya, so given his limited ops, he might prioritise taking that, so we can't take it. He also might have the Indo-Pakistani war card, which again, I don't think we've seen. No. So he might be a little bit more reluctant to play into Burma and threaten India, because he'll probably be thinking to himself, you know, I've got this card, I can gamble, hopefully the win on India. So I'm going to prioritise the Middle East here to stop the Americans from spreading. So again, he's got a couple of things to think about through that play. We're sort of threatening him on 2 fronts. So he's only got 1 influence, and he prioritises Libya. We'll get Fidel out of the deck. We can hopefully perform a realignment later. And I don't think we will move into India, because if he does have the Indo-Pakistani war card, he'll have a sort of 50-50 chance of taking it. So I think we'll grab Pakistan now and take away his domination, which actually leaves us 1 point up because we have Afghanistan. So that's nice. I think we'll play Captured Nazi next, unless he does anything drastic to score 2 victory points. you know, we need to retain that momentum. Oh no, he spaces now, and he fails, which is good. So we can grab those 2 points. I think we probably should have played that earlier. You know, it was likely that he had a US event in his hand that he wanted to space. I think it was a mistake on our part to not use captured Nazi and fully utilise it for what can be done with it. So I want CIA back in the deck. So I think on that basis I will threaten India. Just use it as the one up. And obviously there's no point playing it for the event now because we'd only be able to see the few cards left in his hand that he has. So yeah. If he doesn't play blockade, I think we will break North Korea with Comecon. Oh, there's Japan, nice. So we'll probably move into Burma. Yeah. Right. So we get Japan, so we still don't have domination. So we'll give him these points. If he hadn't already played D-Stall, then I'd be slightly more reluctant to give him them. You know, because it hands in some easy D-Stall influence points, but given that he already has, I don't really mind. And then we'll do my traditional move of moving into North Korea.
So my country's purpose is to help us move out of the dark chamber of horrors into the light, to find a way by which the minds of men, the hopes of men, the souls of men everywhere can move forward toward peace and happiness and well-being.
So, you know, another fairly low ops hand here. The good news is we can space decol, so we don't have to worry about that. We've got defectors, but the problem there is that he knows that we must have defectors because I don't think we've seen it in the last two turns. We also say if he prioritises the coup over North Korea, we can't actually take it outright because we've only got, you know, these little 2-op cards. The good news is if he decides to attack India, then we can threaten him with the Indo-Pakistani war card. So some positives and negatives about this hand, but I think we've got to defect to him really. Nasser. Okay, so not great for us really because the chances are now that Sadat will come out before Nasser, which means that he'll be able to threaten Egypt later on in the game, which doesn't usually happen. But you know, the main problem here is we're just lacking ops. You know, we need some more points really. Position wise, it's sort of even. You know, Middle East is even. Asia's slightly in our favour, but he just needs to take one more battleground. Europe, although he's ahead in battlegrounds, he doesn't have domination because he doesn't control a non-battleground at this stage. So yeah, we'll see what he does, whether he repairs or whether he coups anyway, whether he sort of gives up on Asia. I mean, we can't take it anyway. Oh, so he does coup. So he just knocks one down in Egypt. So given that, I think we'll take it back, and then we will. He must know from this that we have a low ops hand. So I think we'll ignore North Korea. We'll place one into India, and then if he takes it with the China card, we can always try to flip it with Indo-Pakistani war. You know, if he wants to take India, then he has to use the China card. So yeah, he's a bit unlucky on that Egypt coup as well. I think another play we need to consider is moving into Jordan, so we can threaten Saudi Arabia. But if playing a 2-ops card on action round 1 doesn't scream that we have a low ops hand, then I don't know what does. But yeah, you know, it's just one of those things. It happens sometimes. Things we can do. So, like I say, move into Jordan. Once we've taken, or hopefully taken India, we can, I think, take Mexico and Panama. You know, start trying to get ahead in the sort of mid-war regions. The chances are he'll move into France soon, so I think we need to take Algeria ASAP. So yeah, We could put one into Israel and then play the Arab-Israeli war card. So I'll take North Korea, and he starts protecting South America. So the bad news there is we've got rid of special relationships. It would have been nice to play that card for the event. We will. What can we do? We'll play CIA, not CIA. We'll play Cambridge. We'll move into Jordan, and then we'll take India. So he can't take that now unless he tries something crazy with the China card, because we have Indo-Pakistani, so we can safely walk in there without the fear of it being flipped. He might now feel inclined to take Saudi Arabia. Okay, so he scores the Middle East for even before we can advance. So it's sort of pointless placing the influence into Israel at this point. What I will do is I'll go ahead and throw one into Jordan so he can't succeed on the Arab-Israeli war card. We don't want to give him 2 victory points that could easily be avoided, and then I think we'll start this march into Third World. So he would have failed anyway, but I want to prevent him from getting points where I can. If he doesn't move into India or Pakistan for whatever reason, then I think I'll play the Indo-Pakistani war event on Pakistan to see if we can get 2 victory points. Also the other good thing about that is we prevent him from getting the points from military ops, which I think is slightly more important. So we're going to go ahead and space now, see if we can get ahead. We don't, unfortunately. So I think he might now want to start taking the South American countries. Sorry. We'll play Vietnam as a final. Sorry, as a penultimate play. Oh Christ! I forgot about my heart was in my mouth there. I completely forgot about blockade. We're lucky that he didn't use that for the event. Okay, so he's evened up the country count there. So we'll take. I think we'll take them both actually, because if we're giving him that extra influence with Vietnam, then we don't want him to flip anything. So or do we just take? Oh, I'm not sure actually. I think we'll take Malaysia with CIA. And then at the end we can use Indo-Pakistani for the military ops. I did that purely in case he has the Asian scoring card. We're 5 points down. We could do with the I think is it 6? Oh no, 7. The 7-point boost. Given that he's still thinking, I think that probably means that he doesn't have the Asia scoring card. But we need to keep it as American as possible. So, there's consignment. Nice. So he grabs Spain and gives himself European domination. Right, so we've now got 3 ops instead of 2. Are the 2 points worth another break? I think they are. I think if we break, actually, I think that's worth the 2 points, because then, if we make him decide between a coup again, between a coup and rescuing North Korea, then we could potentially coup preferably a South American country, because we're in big trouble there at the moment. So there's lots of cards that could help us out. There's grain sales and Voice of America, but we need to assume that we're not going to get them. We need to build a solid plan. Okay. So, not bad ops-wise. The only problem is there aren't really any devastating events. Poland's overprotected, so John Paul isn't much of an issue. We get a nice point from Camp David. We could use shuttle diplomacy to make him lose a battleground point in Asia if and when that comes out. I'm not sure, to be honest. I think. What's in the discard pile as well? Nothing interesting, really. These Camp David doesn't force him to do anything, really. Whereas I suppose John Paul makes him inclined to protect Poland ever so slightly. It's not worth playing Alliance for the event because we only have one battleground country there, excuse me. So let me know if you think this is right. I'm going to go ahead and play John Paul. And obviously he has Red Scares. Oh dear. So, yes, it's made a average hand sort of quite bad, but never mind. So he knows we can't take North Korea now, so he'll probably go for the coup anyway. Yeah, Red Scare, just a hugely powerful event. Yeah, so he goes for the coup, and he just knocks us out, which is good. So in that case, we've got three 2-op cards basically, and I'm not going to waste it walking into North Korea when I know that we're not going to get it. So we'll leave him to do that. You know, it's still something he has to repair, so it's not all tragic. You know, we could take Mexico and then play Alliance for 2. We can't coup anywhere, and we don't have. Oh no, we still have the Indo-Pakistani war card. Excuse me. So we could potentially get 2 more points off that. We'll see what he does then. South African. Okay. Right. So we've got to address that. We need to take Algeria so he doesn't score a huge domination in Africa. Yeah, it's not looking good for us though, guys. I've got to be honest. We need Asia to come out. If we take Mexico, then we will even up Central America, so that's good. So he's moving back into North Korea, which is good. So you know we forced him to do something different. I think we'll take Mexico now. There's also a chance he could have liberation, which would make Central America a train wreck, so we don't want to do that. You know, there are some cards here that can give us points. You know, we'll get one from Camp David, we'll get 2 hopefully from Alliance, we'll hopefully get 2 from Indo-Pakistani if we win the roll. Excuse me. So all hope isn't lost. It's just the board isn't looking too friendly at this stage. So we'll probably put 1 back into Poland, and then he takes North Korea back, and he moves into Argentina. So yeah. I think I'll prioritise Czechoslovakia because if we're able to walk into it later, then it can help with realignment against East Germany. So I want to make him place the 2 ops into Chile instead of us just giving it him. You know, it's something for him to think about. I think we need to start building up the points because basically if he plays South America, that'll give him 10, and then he'll be on the verge of winning with Africa. So I think we'll get our 2 points from Alliance. Trying to fight back a little bit. We'll space Quagmire. If he takes Chile, then we'll probably attempt a realignment with Allende on Cuba, or we could try for the coup in Botswana. Okay, so he just takes them back, sure. So yeah, we'll try that. We'll just try to fight him back for some of these points. There's Sadat. So yeah, that's the bad news about earlier. You know, NASA's going to come back at some stage. The good news is that Egypt's very overprotected. So you know, NASA doesn't remove all US influence. He only removes half. So say if we were to put 2 extra into Egypt, that gives us 3 to his 2, I think. So I think it says to add 2 into Egypt. Then we could just place that point from NASA back into Egypt, so we could potentially take it back. It's a lot of ops though, so I'd be a bit wary of that play. Go ahead, Space Quagmire, try to get ahead. Nice. And then we'll play Indo-Pakistani for the event to prevent him from getting those 2 points. A nice Voice of America or Colonial Rearguards would be would be very much appreciated at this stage. Or Brush War as well. It'd be nice to attempt a Brush War in Italy. If we had a few more ops, I'd consider breaking Poland as well, but we just can't do it, you know. There's Che. I think he'll grab Chile with this. And he protects Angola and Poland. I mean, I wouldn't have flipped Angola anyway because he could have easily realigned us out of there. Yes, we'll hopefully get lucky on this. Nice. Very nice indeed. Yes, not a great round.
We do not tempt them with weakness, for only when our arms are sufficient beyond doubt can we be certain beyond doubt that they will never be employed.
Okay, so some good news. We have liberation, so we know we can't make that push into Central America, which is great. Made a lot better by the fact that we have Central America scoring. We have Bear Trap, so we can steal the opening coup. We have Cultural, which isn't a huge issue because we'll just give him 1 point, and that's the end of that. And we also have Nuclear Subs, which I'm considering headlining. You know, we could hopefully make a bid for South America and Africa, and make him think about a couple of things as well. So yeah, I've also got Marshall Plan, which might be a good play. I suppose we could Bear Trap him, steal the coup, and then play Nuclear Subs later in the round to complicate things for him. You know, I think that's what we'll do. Okay, so unfortunately he's going to get the coup here anyway. Or he might do. I don't know what he will do with it. I'd assume that he'd attempt the coup. Given that we can space 2 cards, I think I'll space OPEC because that's 3 points for him. And I will space Liberation Theology, providing that he doesn't walk into Animal in Space. Where could he coup with this? He could try for one of the 2 stability countries that we've got. Oh no. So he kicks us out of Panama there. I suppose and he escapes the grain sales. Okay, so I suppose, you know, he kicks us out of Panama. It is a little bit annoying, but there is the Panama Canal returned card, so we will return there at some stage, hopefully. We'll play Nuclear Subs now, so we can, you know, try for the coup on Zaire, Brazil maybe with Marshall Plan. We could also try to realign Cuba at some stage. We are really hanging on here though. Only one region that favours us. Oh no. Okay, so he's now probably going to go crazy in Asia. In which case, well, we can't change it now, can we? You know, what's been done has been done. So let's get rid of cultural, because the chances are now we'll probably use the China card on either Thailand or Pakistan. So I think we'll go for Brazil. Let's try to kick him out. Nice big 5. That's what we want to see. So, you know, that's given him something else to think about as well. You know, South America was his best region, and now we've just flipped a country. So he might think about the realignment in Uruguay. You know, I think that would be a good play. I suppose we could coup Venezuela with OPEC and then do the event, so we'd only get 2 points, but I am reluctant to give him those 2 points. But given that he's raised the DEFCON to 4, I think that must mean that he has Asia scoring, and he wants to attack Asia. We can play Allende with no consequences. You know, he already controls Chile, so that's not a problem. One small step. We can play for ops. We don't need that. Okay, so here comes the big coup. Ooh, that's really unfortunate. So yeah, we can just walk back in there. And then what can we do with this final op? It's 7 to his 6, so he could just take Philippines. So I think we'll prevent him from trying anything clever there. Wow, that was pretty fortunate for us. I definitely think he must have Asia scoring if he's willingly given up the China card to attempt to flip Thailand. Or maybe he just wanted to increase his odds. Who knows? Yeah, I also took the Philippines because we haven't seen Southeast Asia yet, and it was in his favour, but it's now been balanced out by that play. So that's my thought process there. UN with Voice of America. Okay. Yeah, so he's going for the realignment. So in that case, you know, I'm reluctant to play this card, but again, we don't have a huge amount of ops, and this offers the biggest chance of success. So nice. Okay, so I can't complain there. So he's now got to take Venezuela back if he wants to try for that realignment. The bad news is we've seen voice and grain sales, so a couple of pretty big American events have been put in the discard pile for now. We'll hopefully see them when Richard Nixon comes around. Okay, so he spaces that wisely, and he fails, so we can still space 2 cards. With one small step, I'm going to grab Venezuela to take away his domination, and then what can we do with this other op? I think we will make a push for France. You know, if he's got de Gaulle, he should play it now. Next play, I think we'll score Central America, and then with Allende, we'll attempt a coup on Zaire. He might want to keep it at 3. It might be in his interest to keep it at 3, because then he could try another coup next turn on Thailand if the DEFCON isn't dropped in the headline phase. So the game has evened out ever so slightly with our newfound South American presence, which I'm very delighted to report. Still progress to be made, though. Still areas where we're quite far behind. That Zaire coup is looking more and more tempting and more important. Yeah, you know, I mean, what's he going to do? Could he coup Mexico with him knowing that we have Central America? Or, like I said, does he want to keep the DEFCON at 3 so it'll move to 4 next turn and he can try to flip Asia around? Who knows? He might take South Africa. So, oh, there's Panama. So we're back into Panama now. So I don't want him to coup Central America and get any funny ideas, before we score it. So he has overprotected Zaire wisely, though. So we'll need a big roll with Allende to flip it. It's not the end of the world if not, because we haven't seen colonial rearguards, I don't think. So that should be due to make an appearance soon. Oh, nice. And he rolls a 1, nice. So now we've got Mr. Kennedy. Now, the danger here is if we get rid of both cards and then, albeit unlikely, then draw 2 scoring cards, we're going to lose. So I think we'll get rid of Liberation, because we'd only space that anyway, and then keep Allende. We get nuclear test ban, nice. So in that case, I think we'll go for a big fat coup on Zaire. We only get a 1, unfortunately. So it's still quite vulnerable. But that nuclear subs helps us out a lot there to sort of get a foothold in areas where we previously were quite far behind. Okay, so looking at this hand, 3 options here. We play colonial rearguards and attack Southeast Asia and Africa, which I think is what I'm going to do. We can play OAS and basically attack, say, the 2 South American battlegrounds that he controls to try and flip that around slightly. We could steal the coup from him with Junta and then play colonial rearguards. We're spacing Muslim Revolution. What to do? And we do have ABM as well, so even if he does coup, we could then re-coup wherever he attacks with ABM. I think colonial rearguards is the play here. And there's socialist governments again, so probably France, I'd have thought. Or he could just completely remove our presence and score it for the win. I think you get 11. I know you get 10. Christ. So yeah, that's a big problem if he does have Europe. In which case we will. So what can we do if he scores Europe for 10? I'll take him up to 19. So what we could do with this is then take Nigeria to give ourselves more battlegrounds than him. Take an African non-battleground to give ourselves domination. Put one into Angola to make it more sort of coup friendly, and then place one into, I suppose, Laos. You know, I'm desperately looking for places to score points, basically. Yeah, you know, if he scores Europe, that's a huge problem for us. I suppose Africa has given him other things to think about as well, though. If he did have Europe, and I were him, I'd score it now, because you know how often do you get to score something for 10 points? It's not very often, is it? So, and like I say, the good news about ABM is if he yeah, there we go. So we need to score Africa. Wow, so on the brink of defeat there. Yeah, not great. Good news is though, Asia's still out there. You know, we've not seen that yet. South America's going to be scored for even. It comes with the Cuban Missile Crisis play, and it only rolls a 2. So what we could do here is we could use Hunter, place 2 back into Brazil, and then coup Uruguay. So with that, we could then use ABM on Argentina and potentially score it for domination. That is if we get a big roll here in Uruguay. Okay, that's good. So we kick him out. I suppose the only problem with having multiple scoring cards is that you have sort of 2 or 3 action rounds where you're just not placing any ops, you know. Could use OAS as well, maybe attack Argentina and then place one into Colombia, so he's forced to repair Argentina. No, that's a bad idea. Sorry, don't listen to that. What could we do with OAS? I suppose a better play would be to place one underneath Cuba and then one into Argentina. So he then has to decide between cooing, say, Nicaragua or Haiti and protecting Chile, or you know, protecting Argentina. I suppose that we still have ABM, so we might as well attempt a coup on Argentina. Nice! Wow. Oh, some big dice rolls. Given that, I think I might take Paraguay and Uruguay with the China card to sort of guarantee ourselves that domination. Oh, so he's going to go for Argentina here. That's good. Right. Right. We will get rid of Missile Envy, because we don't know whether he'll get it or whether we'll get it. We'll get rid of you two, and I think, you know, Flower Power is still something that can give him points, so we'll get rid of that as well. Yeah. So we'll break Chile, take Argentina, and then place one into Colombia. So, you know, does he coup to take away our domination, or does he protect Chile? We can hopefully score some big points here as well. Another possible play with OAS would be to place 2 in Peru and threaten the realignment there. But by breaking Chile, we A, take away his presence, and B, take away that realignment threat that he gets with that modifier. So he's going for the coup. Okay, so we still get, I think, 3 points. Yeah. Which, you know, is a lot better than what it was at the start of the turn, so I'm happy with that. You know, we're still making that fight back. Space is Usuri, so he's now level with us. I think we should try to space Muslim Revolution to get those 2 points, and then we'll place the 2 from OAS underneath Cuba. You know, because we're looking good in South America now. We've managed to flip that quite well. We've still not seen Asia scoring, so that has to come out next round if we don't see it. Unless he has it now with with 5-year plan. I hope not. Oh, unbelievable. Another thing we do need to do as well is think about West Germany, actually, because he could play that for a huge ton of points. Yeah, I think that's the better play, actually, because if Europe comes back, then we're going to be in huge trouble. So yeah.
For the first time, because the people of the world want peace, and the leaders of the world are afraid of war, the times are on the side of peace.
So what I'm thinking here is puppet governments place 2 underneath Cuba to threaten the realignment, so to make him basically prioritise a DEFCON reducing coup over saving Cuba, basically. Another potential play is Nixon, so we take the China card off him and then attack with Usuri, which is another good play, actually. But I suppose we could do that next turn if we play Nixon as our last play and then keep Usuri, then that could potentially help us out there. I like the puppet government's play, so I think we'll do that. And he's got decal, so right. The last one. I'm not sure. Could really do without him having decoll. He must also have colonial rearguards because I don't think we've seen that yet. So he's going to attack us in the two places where we're doing the best, which is quite frustrating, Asia and Africa. Yeah. I suppose if we're able to realign Cuba, then we can sort of swap Africa for Central America, which isn't great because I'd rather keep Africa because I think it's worth more points, but it is what it is. You know, we can't do anything against the fact that he has decoll. We should also think about taking Israel to get Middle East domination. So he still goes for the coup. So he just blows us out of Mexico as well. We've got to keep Thailand. I mean, there's no question about that. We don't want him flipping Thailand. Go ahead and take Nigeria to force him to take Zaire, basically, to prevent our domination again. We can still realign him out of Chile, which isn't an issue. Yeah, that decoll's shaking things up, really. I want a space before him as well to try to get the 2 points. Big 4-up card again. No, I don't know why he's done that. We've got to fight him now in Central America, otherwise that's the game. Nice. I suppose Mexico as well. Nope. Okay, so we threw him out of Chile, which is not Chile, Cuba, which is great. He can just walk back in, given that he's placed one into Haiti. Maybe should have considered realigning that as well. Just shows you how quickly things can change in this game. You know, I mean, we were doing awful in South America. We're now leading there. We were doing better in Central America. He's now leading there. Africa looks like it's going to fall to him now. Asia was looking bad at the start of the game. So yeah, I think that 5-year plan with Asia killed us. You know, it's one of the things that really frustrates me as the Americans is you can lose an entire region's worth of points just by them having a 5-year plan. Especially when you're sort of falling behind a little bit, to see your one region where you're doing well just get 5-year planned away is quite annoying. But never mind. So what's he going to do now? Special relationship. Okay. So can now take Chile with Usuri. I know I wanted to do that play earlier, but you know, there's 3 events here that we're not too keen on triggering. You know, we're running out of ops again. Africa's even. I don't want to play Suez because it'll get rid of our progress in Israel. Oh no. Oh, come on. Give us a break. Right. Let's try and get ahead on the space race at least. You know, try and steal those 2 points. Nice. Okay. So that's some good news. So we've at least denied him those 2 points. We do need to coup as well. Cloud Kitchen debates will probably take Chile. Okay, so we can play Allende now with no real consequences. I suppose we should coup the Dominican Republic to take away his. And we roll a big fat 1. Nice. Take away his domination there. We'll play Allende, and I don't know what we'll do with it, to be honest. So there's Degal. Bump. Right. We could try for a realignment on Mexico, I suppose. Hope to get a bit lucky. I don't know what else to do with it, to be honest. No change. And we'll steal the China card off him with Nixon. I suppose now the good news is about France, we can just take it without fear of de Gaulle coming in to ruin the day. Another big 4-ups. Yeah, just go and do that, why not? Just take everything. Yes, we'll grab the China card off him.
But surely one such lesson, learned by the world at great cost, is that aggression, unopposed, becomes a contagious disease.
So Europe, that's bad news. Again, no real sort of devastating events here, you know. I suppose 5-year plan is the only thing to play. What's in the discard pile? No, I think we'll try to reduce his hand size a little bit. He also doesn't have the China card, so this will cause some issues for him, you know. Okay, so Brezhnev, so we've got to be wary of that. What do we get? Oh no, that's in our favour, for fuck's sake. God almighty. Yes, we could have just taken Israel there, gotten some points, but never mind. The good news is if he has 2 problematic cards, then he's now got to play everything. It had to be Middle East scoring, didn't it? You know, I suppose if we took Israel, he then probably would have taken Saudi Arabia to even it up, but you know, definitely spacing OPEC. We can't afford to give him 2 points at this stage. Wow. Okay, so he fails that, which is nice. We have got Europe, so we've got to take France. How many countries have you got in Africa? What can we do with this extra op? I'm not sure. He has 4 in Europe to our 2. So if we move into Greece, we could say take a few of, take the UK back, then take Greece and Turkey, and then hopefully counteract his domination there. We need Asia scoring desperately, and of course he just has that. I mean, why wouldn't he? Fucking hell. Right. He just has that one card that undoes everything that I've just done. Yes, if we take Greece and Turkey, then that will eliminate his domination. I suppose solidarity is also something else to look out for. Turkey probably.
Mr. Gorbachev,
Yeah.
tear down this wall.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lost cause now, isn't it? I suppose we could sort of flip Zaire. Then if it takes Cameroon, we could coup there. Get military ops. I'm scraping at the barrel here, though, guys. I'm really not sure of what to do. That sort of forces him to take South Africa, I suppose. I think my biggest hope here is that that 5-year plan has left him with some cards that he can't space, you know, grain sales and tear down this wall, or some combination of the sort. Yeah. Right. So let's coup Cameroon to protect Zaire. 3. Okay, not bad. I suppose we could move into the Saharan states and we I got excited then. Okay, so we can't play any of these cards really. Let's space OPEC. Nice. So we could get 3 points next turn as well. Yes, there we go. There's Asia scoring. So finally a little bit of respite. We can't do anything about. Or can we? Hang on. Is there any? Can we cause any trouble anywhere? 5-2. Take Greece and the UK with the Iron Lady. That still only gives us 4. Yeah, we can't really do anything. We can't break any countries. We'll just have to take it, unfortunately. What could we do? Oh no. Just keep racking up those points. What could we do? We could. It would be very fitting for Margaret Thatcher to attack Argentina, wouldn't it? I suppose we could break a country to like force him to coup that. You know, we could use Maggie Thatcher to break Argentina, so he sort of, you know, he has to address that next turn instead of say cooing us out of Zaire. That's the best I've got at the moment, I'm afraid.
I believe that communism is another sad, bizarre chapter in human history whose last pages even now are being written.
Ooh, this is a nasty hand. So we've got voice, which is great. We've got East European, which is great. We could break Poland. We've got Marshall Plan, a nice big 4 ops. We can space Quagmire, hopefully to get 3 points. Arab-Israeli doesn't affect us, and we can play Iran-Contra towards the end. So what could we do with voice, we could... Billy Brandt, okay, so he wants those points, doesn't he? I suppose with voice, we could take 2 from Mexico. 1 from Angola to make it sort of flippable, if he... Or maybe 1 from Nigeria. And then, we could, hang on.
The totalitarian world produces backwardness because it does such violence to the spirit, thwarting the human impulse to create, to enjoy, to worship.
I was thinking that, like, the amount of places we could do damage in. So we could take Panama, take 1 more from Argentina, and then sort of even out Angola. So he's got loads of things to think about there, you know. Let me know if you would have done anything differently, but I'm just trying to, like, irritate him in as many areas as I can. You know, he's got a lot to think about there. I am worried about war games, but what can we do about it? We can't really do anything. We don't have missile envy, so he's going for the coup with Cambridge, and he fails. Nice. So let's pull out Marshall Plan. We'll overprotect Angola, and then we will sort of move into Panama. So unless he's got war games now, he's sort of lost it in a couple of regions. We're praying that he doesn't have war games, but so I suppose now we could coup Colombia, because he has to take Panama now if he wants to retain his Central American domination. Oh no, there's war games. Okay, so anticlimactic as always. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of war games, but he did deserve it. You know, he retained a good control in a lot of areas for a long time. We were trailing behind with points. I was really interested to see where that game would have gone now that we created that damage. You know, looking at the board there, it looks sort of salvageable for us now, whereas it looked disastrous just last turn. Which is part of the reason why I'm not a huge fan of war games, because I think it is quite anticlimactic. I don't like using it myself either. I feel like it's cheating ever so slightly when I do it. Well, not cheating, because obviously it's part of the game, but I'd rather win by getting to 20 points or getting to final scoring. You know, it's a little bit dull in my opinion, but that was a very good game. Doomsday played excellently. He had us on our toes the whole game, and there wasn't an awful lot we could do about it until it was a little bit too late. So let me know what I could have done better. I'm sure there's lots of things I could have done, looking at the board and the fact that I lost. So please let me know what you would have done. Thank you to Doomsday for an excellent, well-fought game. A very, very good player there. So that's it until next time, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time.